What's up, guys? It's KB. Make sure you subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Click the bell icon down below so you don't miss a single video from us. And thanks for tuning in to another video from Underground Sports Philadelphia. Now let's get into it.
Philadelphia, baby, you're going to love it. Best sports fans in the world. Actually, the worst, but that's what makes them the best.
Right, what is going on, everybody? Welcome in to Underground Sports Philadelphia, episode number 458. It's KB and Matt coming at you from Underground Studios. We got a whole lot to dive into, from the Phillies, the Sixers. I have a very fun old school baseball player fact for you, Matt. Plus, we'll get into the Philadelphia Union as well. But before we get started, make sure you guys are following us on the socials at UndergroundPHI on Twitter, on Instagram. Follow Matt on Twitter at Matt Castorina. Follow me at KBIZZL311. Check out the website, undergroundsportsphiladelphia.com, for all of our written content. Subscribe to the podcast feed on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, we are there. And leave those 5-star ratings and reviews. It does go a long way to help more people find the show, gets us on those charts, and helps us continue to grow as a podcast. And, of course, subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel, where you get full video episodes of every single Underground Sports Philadelphia podcast. Easy to watch, easy to consume, and, of course, smash that like button, ring the bell icon, comment down below your thoughts on the Phils, the Sixers, the Eagles, the Union, and anything else in between. Leave us your favorite old school baseball player names in there as well. Big thank you to our sponsors who make this show happen: Main Auto LLC, Ducharme's Pro Foot, Security 21 Security Systems, Paul J. Gillespie Incorporated, and the Dental Wellness Center of Vineland. Tomahawk Shades. Guys, it's still summertime. You got to protect those eyes when you're outside enjoying these last few weeks of summer. And, of course, when you're inside watching your favorite sports teams, you should be protecting your eyes as well. With those blue light plus glasses from Tomahawk Shades. You guys can go to tomahawkshades.com and use code USP for 25% off your entire order at tomahawkshades.com. That's code USP at tomahawkshades.com for 25% off your entire order from our friends at Tomahawk Shades. Kenwood Beer, the official light beer of Underground Sports Philadelphia. Matt, I don't know if you saw this yesterday. They tweeted this when you and Dom were recording Top Bins, but new Kenny hats are on the way, and they look sweet.
They are very nice.
You guys can go to kenwoodbeer.com. Use that Kenny tracker to see who's got Kenwood Beer on tap in the Philadelphia area. You got to be 21 or older to do so. And, of course, please drink responsibly. And our pals over at Bino, you guys can go to binoboard.com and use our code BINOUSP for 10% off your Bino board, whether it's one that's already created or a custom board, accessories, merch, everything in between. BinoBoard.com, code BINOUSP. What's going on, Matt?
Living the dream, you know?
The Philadelphia Phillies and the Lehigh Valley Iron Mutts find ways to mash yesterday. We'll start with Bryce Harper, though. Hits 2 home runs in his first game action since going on the injured list. Absolutely demolishes the baseball for Lehigh Valley yesterday. And everybody's like, oh, why can't Bryce be here today? Well, he's not eligible to come off the injured list until Thursday. And me personally, I would rather Bryce just get as many at-bats as possible to get back in the swing of things. But it did look good to see Bryce just, willingly swinging away, hitting the ball over the fence, and testing out that finger as well, sliding into first base. Seemed like he was okay. And it was just nice to see Bryce Harper back on a baseball field.
Right, because he hasn't played in
2 months.
2 months. So it's any chance to get some reps, I think, is crucial to him.
And obviously, the minor leagues, it changes some things up. So it was pretty weird seeing Bryce Harper wear number 4. With his, I do think it's interesting. I think most minor league teams are doing this now. But at least the Iron Pigs are. If a player's on a rehab assignment, their batting helmet will be the Phillies batting helmet rather than the Iron Pigs. But Bryce looking good. He's going to be playing pretty much every day through Saturday, I think, is the plan. And then they're going to reassess to see where he's going to be at. But Phils are getting it done right now without him, as they come back to beat the Reds last night in edge of your seat, biting your fingernails off fashion. As, what we've been saying for quite some time, Matt, the kids are playing and they get the job done. Nick Maton, Bryson Stott, Alec Boehm, all contributing in yesterday's win. And the story that Bryson Stott told in the clubhouse after the game, that he and Maton were kind of just chilling in the clubhouse, using the bathroom, had about 2 minutes to get ready to go pinch hit back to back, and then they go out and win the game. But that's something you and I have been preaching all along, even before this season. Let these younger guys get an opportunity to play, and good things will happen. And that's certainly been the case with those three, as everybody calls them, the daycare.
Yeah, dropping the kids off at daycare. You got to let them learn their shapes and their colors and how to tie their own shoes, how to socialize. I think it's safe to say that Joe Girardi was not as fond of doing that. He was a homeschool parent,
Yes.
which has its benefits. I don't want to hate on the homeschool, but I think it's important that kids are around other kids. I think we can all agree on that at the very least.
It's just nice to see, the homegrown talent contributing to this team, getting wins, and I think the smart thing was done yesterday as well, letting Derek Hall go back down to Lehigh Valley, getting his reps in. He and Bryce Harper hitting back-to-back tonight, so if you feel, the earth shaking a little bit, it's probably because Bryce Harper and Derek Hall are hitting home runs left and right in the Lehigh Valley. But, today, Phillies are getting underway right now as we record this on Wednesday night. And Rob Thompson kind of, putting it out on the table. He's giving Christopher Sanchez a spot start to give Aaron Nola a little bit of extra rest, Zach Wheeler a little bit of extra rest after that Mets series. And hopefully it goes well for Christopher Sanchez's first start since July 5th. And, the bullpen's been taxed a little bit recently, and you want to give them some rest. I was watching the pregame, and Ricky Vitalico said, I wouldn't be surprised if this is Rob Thompson just trying to manifest going Christopher Sanchez to Nick Nelson and that being it.
Yeah, so his idea, too, is that he wants to give everyone an extra day of rest, kind of with the longer season ahead in view, and that, hopefully this should be a playoff team. And I kind of like that forward thinking. I think that's, maybe you take a hit now, but this is also, frankly, a Reds team you could probably still win a game. Given these circumstances, and you look around the league too, and thankfully the teams that are around us in the wild card standings are in tough series or already have down tonight or what have you. So I think I like the decision making on this one to kind of maybe take a little pain now, but hopefully for some benefit a lot later. Take
and I
the
think
medicine.
It's more so a testament too that he's trusting the bats in this lineup to go out and hit the way that they have. Because, Matt, I don't know if you've taken a look recently. Our boy's on a 13-game hitting streak.
Yeah, right? Offensively, this team has been so weird. That Mets series was very frustrating, obviously, and kind of glad it's over.
Yes.
But, there's some tough lessons to learn through that, and one lesson I think we've definitely learned is we don't want to be facing the Mets in the playoffs.
Which... It's funny you bring that up because I know we've been talking about how it would be hilarious if the Mets, squandered the lead in the NL East. We kind of want the Mets to win the NL East.
Right.
Because I just saw on the MLB app today, actually, they updated it and put the postseason tab on there. And the way the wild card works, I hate it. It's not how you would traditionally think it works, but... the wild card matchups work like this. It's game one of the wild card is NL wild card number 3 at division winner number 3.
Right.
So the worst division winner will play the worst wild card, and then the number 2 wild card will be at wild card number 1.
Right.
So if the Mets were to fall out of the lead in the NL East, they would become wild card number 1. Phillies would have to go to New York. Not a fan of that. And the way that the Phillies were played against the Braves this year, I'd much rather play those odds in that matchup than having to play the Mets where we won all of, I believe, 4 games.
Yeah, the garbage dump that is Atlanta. So.
Yes.
Their own fans did it. I'm not calling Atlanta a garbage dump. They're the ones that threw
it on the field. I hate that, though. I wish it was just here's division winner number 1 versus...
I think it's nice, though, because it gives it gives like even more incentive. Like there's already a huge incentive to win your division, but there's even more incentive to be like, I like that the top 2 teams get that little breather. I think it's a good system. I mean, ultimately, like only 6 teams are making the playoffs anyway. Like you're already like cutting the herd a little bit more than every other sport. Listen, I know that this might be like sacrilege to some people. I wouldn't mind if even there was 8 playoff teams in baseball. I don't know why it has to be like, for the longest time, it was like nobody makes the playoffs. Like, whereas, yeah, I know like half the league in most other major North American sports are making the playoffs, but I think the more, the better.
Used to be, what, 4?
Yeah.
4 from each league?
That's insane. I'm sorry, but it just is. Especially when you have such a long season and it's like, sorry, that's it. You watched your team win 90 games and not make the playoffs. See you in 5 months.
That's absolutely wild to think about. That's pretty much like, that just shows how good the Phillies were in 2007.
Yeah.
The NL East run differential, Matt, brought to you by our pals over at Pickup. You guys can go to playpickup.com, start playing the hottest headlines in sports, including the season-long NL East run differential prop. Go to playpickup.com. The Atlanta Braves are leading the NL East run differential now, Matt. Plus 135, still in second place. Game and a half back of the Mets. The first place Mets with a plus 122. And the Phillies at 68 and 55 with a very nice 69 positive run differential. Marlins at minus 61. And the Stolen franchise officially going to finish this season under 500 at a whopping minus 209. And the Pittsburgh Pirates are on their way to catching them. Pirates are at a minus 192 run differential, and the Dodgers continue to lead the way in the run differential department in all of baseball. They sit at a whopping plus 269.
Very nice.
Dodgers scored 200 more runs than the Phils this year.
Let's counting and all that. We don't have to do those things.
Insane. I got to bring this up to you as well because it's been a while since it's been this late in the season that the Phillies have been relevant and in a playoff push. You would think you'd be talking about that if you're covering this team, talking about, the playoff run, things that you got to do, each game being important. Well, Matt, when I was closing out of watching TV on a streaming platform today, it brought me to NBC Sports Philadelphia with the new 97.5 The Fanatic afternoon show. Mm-hmm. They were talking about hypothetical off-season signings of Trey Turner or Dansby Swanson.
That's bizarre.
I said, are we still not in the thick of a playoff hunt right now?
Yeah.
Like, why are we talking about things that are not going to happen at the earliest / allegedly December?
Yeah. It's a great question. I guess that's just... It's just what was on the producer's list that day.
This is why I advise everybody to subscribe to our show, because we're not going to be talking about that until December, January, at the earliest. Matt, last week we were talking about our favorite old school baseball players that used to play for the Phillies, and ironically enough, this came across my timeline today. This is from @custom_baseball. And it so happened on this day in 1919, veteran hurler Ray Caldwell, so pretty nice baseball name.
Pretty normal name, I would say.
In his since changed name for the Cleveland organization, made his debut. He was struck by lightning during the 9th inning versus the Athletics.
Holy shit.
But they were built different in 1919, Matt. He miraculously got back up and finished the game. He allowed 4 hits and 1 run in a win. His 8th win.
That's the most insane set of circumstances.
The newspaper headline in the graphic behind this: Thunderbolt puts Ray Caldwell down, but he wins game.
Imagine going one-on-one with the force of nature.
Not only do you have to beat the Athletics, you have to beat Mother Nature in the process.
It's gonna be kind of hard to ever top that. You got to get a war bump for that. They survived a lightning hit in the middle of the game.
Just
that's gotta,
insane.
I'm surprised there's a stat for everything in baseball. There's got to be a stat for that.
WLTG. Wins above lightning replacement.
Expected lightning strike.
Waller.
The Waller score. Jesus Christ. Imagine getting struck by lightning. Just imagine just getting struck by lightning and then
In general.
I'm assuming he was unconscious. Then you come to it's like, I got to finish. 1919 was such a different time. Because also you can still get cholera and die then. You know, like that.
Yeah.
Like if you just had like the wrong kind of water, like night. There's like this whole thing, like a lot of presidents obviously died in like the 19th century. And there's a whole discussion about like how it happened. It turns out that just the former White House was down the water table from where they dumped all of Washington, literally like all of Washington D.C. shit. So they had like all types of terrible like bacteria and parasites in the drinking water at the White House, and that's why not even just so many presidents died, but like a lot of like ancillary like people also died.
Good Lord.
So.
But yeah,
I think it's where National Stadium is now. It's just down.
It's actually the site of FedEx Field.
Just different times, man. Just a different lifetime. Imagine today. First of all, it wouldn't even happen. As soon as they hear thunder, it's like you're in the pool. You know, like the lifeguard pulls you out. Like the game gets paused. Could never imagine that.
Struck by lightning, gets up, wins the game.
It's like imagine it was the Giants and who else when the earthquake hit during the broadcast. Imagine
Giants and A's, I think.
Yeah, well, first of all, we gotta figure out what's going on with the Athletics, but imagine like they're like, all right, well, keep playing. like, that's how insane that is.
It's so nuts. Like, imagine today, somebody gets struck by lightning on the mound, like. The league might suspend play for like 2 weeks.
Yeah. I mean, Jesus.
Ray Caldwell, ladies and gentlemen. And last night, the Phillies broadcast out in left field, the prodigal son, Tyrese Maxey, made an appearance. John Kruk is in love with him. And
aren't we all? Is there a more humble and amazing duo than John Kruk and Tyrese Maxey?
John Kruk was like, so you're 21, huh?
Yes.
He said, yep. And he's like, so you can drink now. He's like, yeah, but I try to stay away from it. John Kruk says, all right, I'll have one for you anyway.
My favorite was John Kruk was trying to remember a story. Like trying to remember something he did on vacation, but he was like, yeah, I was so drunk I don't really remember where we were. I was on a boat or something. He's like, I'll text my son. He'll remember maybe.
Then Greg Lazinski comes on the broadcast, starts talking about how he has to get like neck binding surgery, and he's going to be at Jefferson. And Kruk's just like, well, do I have to come over and see and take care of you? Because your wife's down in Florida with my wife.
We all need a good friend like John Kruk.
And Kruk was like, yeah, I was over there. I was in there for 5 days. It was like living in a palace.
I got to say this. I don't know if you saw the viral video of the guy turning the hot dog into a straw.
Yes.
I feel like John Kruk would back the play.
John Kruk would be an angel investor in that idea.
I'm just saying, I think John Kruk might even have like IP on that, you know? Like I think
that's called the Krucker.
I'm going to be honest. Obviously not a hot dog person, but I see the appeal. I don't know why people are talking about it as like some heinous war crime. Like you already like have a beer and a hot dog all the time. Like,
right.
Really, I don't know.
I was just more confused on how he got such a seamless straw poke.
It tells me that was not his first time.
Yes.
That was not the first time that person.
Because that thing was...
skewered a dog.
Yeah.
Also confused, because it was at a Mets game. But, well, I shouldn't say I'm confused. Yankees hat on at a Mets game.
Well, it was Yankees-Mets.
Was it? Okay. That makes it better. Because in my experience, you go to a Phillies...
insert team name here.
Like Angels game, and there's a Yankees hat and jersey. It's like, this is exhausting.
I was like, I just watched the Side Talk just put out their Subway Series, 42-second clip on social media, and the very end, there's a guy just like, Red Sox all day, baby, Red Sox all day. And then the guy in a Yankee hat goes, get this fucking guy out of here.
It's got to be exhausting. Showing up to ballparks where you're just, listen, baseball is one of the few sports where I think there's a general, enjoyment of having, other fans in your stadium. Not necessarily your rivals, but it's nice. It's a nice thing. I think there's, an appreciation for it. Don't, bring your random shit into it.
That was like when we went to opening night this year, and the one kid a couple rows in front of us had the Pujols Cardinals jersey on.
Oh, my God. And he was trying so hard to get people to, I was a little worried for the guy, too.
Yes.
We were sitting high up. It gets a little rowdy up there,
Some
of course.
C words getting dropped.
And, you start to antagonize people, even if you're just making a joke out of it. You're 19 years old.
Yeah.
You might lose your life up here, Chief.
We're built different in the 400 level.
You just gotta be careful. That's all.
That kid would have been a ragdoll in the 700 level, though, at the vet.
Yes. He's not making it up the stairs.
Yeah.
I think only because it was Pujols. If you're bringing, Matt Carpenter,
Whew.
you're going
Yachty,
over the rails.
you're done.
I might push you over the rails. And I'm pretty level-headed,
Wainwright, you're done.
Matt Freeze.
I don't know if you saw this kind of trend, because there was a tweet, Matt. It was name the 2 baseball teams that you would kind of put together that have zero connection whatsoever. When you think, all right, these 2 teams have no history together. What 2 teams in baseball to you are all right, there's no sort of connection whatsoever between these 2 teams?
Right off the top of my head, Marlins, Angels. Nothing. There's nothing. You can't tell me a single thing between those teams.
The only sicko baseball brain thing I have is that the Angels won the World Series in 2002. Marlins won in 2003.
Right. But
that's about it.
Right? It's really the Marlins are my baseline for a lot of it. Marlins athletics. Tell me.
Tim Sam and Mike Trout play for the Angels. The Marlins are indeed a fish.
Fair enough. That's fair.
One that popped in my head was Rays Padres.
Yeah, you couldn't tell me anything.
It's those core 4 expansion teams right now, the Marlins, the Rays, the Diamondbacks, and the Rockies.
Right.
Pair those with any the Rockies and the White Sox.
Nothing. Nothing there.
The A's and the Nationals.
Jesus.
Other than they both stink.
Yeah. Nothing there.
I was
Poor A's. Don't worry. In 6 years, 6 years you'll be right back.
They'll find out the reason their stadium sucks. There's a volcano underneath of it ready to erupt. That'll be the next natural disaster waiting for them.
Wouldn't even be shocked at this point.
I'm
at that point where really nothing can surprise me anymore.
No. Speaking of the A's, underground athlete Cole Irvin, career high today, Matt. 11 strikeouts for the A's. So shout out to Cole. But Tyrese Maxey, we brought him up just a bit ago, Matt. Seems like he's staying.
Yeah, because Kevin Durant has been called home.
Have you ever seen?
He spent the summer away from home, sleeping at his friend's house, ducking his parents, and finally.
And by friend's house, we mean Subaru Park.
Yeah, who knew that no one had the package to get Kevin Durant.
Have you ever seen a team's official press release also involve a player's company logo on it?
Also involve a weird font?
Yeah,
what was that?
There was
font choice?
3 of them.
That's the font choice we went with?
I would have rather had Comic Sans.
I would rather a Notes app. That would have been funnier at least.
That would have been so on brand for KD. Or just a text message screenshot.
Yeah. The text message screenshot is true sicko perversion. You couldn't even be bothered to open up your Notes app and hit enter so it doesn't start the top line and all. You're no, I'm just going straight to iMessage.
KD, it would have been screenshot and it would have just been a phone number because he doesn't have Josiah's number saved in his phone.
I think the only worst thing you could do is a WhatsApp message or a
Yes.
Facebook Messenger. It's the only way you get lower than that. But
Oh, man.
Durant is staying. I guess we can rest easy or something. I don't know.
Durant staying, confirmed by the Brooklyn Nets and the boardroom.
It never felt
like he was going anywhere.
It was close, honestly.
No.
There was all these rumors about interest, but once you see the Rudy Gobert package, it's like, well, you're gonna have to at least do a little better than that.
Yeah.
If you want Kevin Durant, but so not surprising, I guess, in the end that he stays in Brooklyn. See how that progresses as the season goes. Yeah, I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure it's fine that one of your stars was trying to force his way out, and so was the other one. And
trying to get the coach and the GM gone.
Ben said, how sweaty do you think his palms are? He was thinking yes, thank God. And it's like imagine him showing up to me okay, so gotta run in here. Katie has something to say. Katie announces he's staying. Ben's like, that's great.
Ben left the group chat again.
that's awesome. So happy to hear it. Well, I gotta go see the specialist about my back again. So just gonna.
I'm going to play Kyler Murray real quick, guys. I'll be back.
Kyler Murray, I think he's playing Madden. I don't know. You saw him on the sideline coaching. He looks pretty nice.
He looked mid-season form.
You don't have to worry until the new Warzone comes out. When the new map comes out.
October, baby.
October, November.
Right when DeAndre Hopkins comes back.
I think they'll get 2 weeks of overlap, and then it's double XP weekends and all that.
Boys, you want to watch film at the crib? Film being me play COD.
Well, they took it out of his contract, so it's all good.
Film meaning me playing COD and you guys are watching in the background while I stream.
Yeah, that's the type of film study.
I mean, the Cardinals are down bad already. I don't know if you saw Cliff Kingsbury walking into their preseason game with the Gary V NFT animal Neopet looking things on his shirt.
Jesus Christ. How did we get here? How did we get to this point?
It has been a while since we brought up any NFT stories, Matt. I
think it's because everyone realized it was a scam.
Yeah.
And they were hemorrhaging money. I think that was...
This is...
I think it says a lot that we don't hear a peep about NFTs anymore.
Some of the finest
weird how the
work.
popularity of NFTs peaked and then cryptocurrency crashed.
Yes.
Well, it's weird. It's almost like NFTs were a scam to get a bunch of regular ass people involved. So it's not to sidetrack, but it's fantasy football season, and I'm always open to listening to new people talk about fantasy football. So I saw a channel yesterday that I'd never watched a video from on YouTube, and I was like, yeah, just put this on. I'm just chilling here. First 5 seconds, it's a guy trying to hawk cryptocurrency. He's like, you don't have to use Coinbase. You can use your credit card. I'm like,
done.
You done? Nope.
Matt, I am here to present you with the new most divorced man in the world.
Oh, no.
I got divorced last year, and as part of the financial agreement...
Oh, no, this guy.
My ex-wife and I agreed that I would keep my cryptocurrency assets while she got the lion's share of my pension and other investments, and we split the family home. When we negotiated last autumn, the crypto market was riding high, and I was convinced it would go higher still. But following the recent crash, my digital assets have more than halved in value. I'm now considerably worse off than my ex and worried about my financial future. She says I only have myself to blame and won't discuss the matter further. Can I go to court to renegotiate our financial order?
No and no. She's right. You only have yourself to blame. Sometimes being an adult is hearing the hard truth like that, and you just have to sit with it and realize, you know what? I made this choice. All me. My choice. And me in a room full of lawyers, I said I want to keep my ape-blowing bubblegum NFT that I bought for $90,000.
I saw that and I said, dear God.
It's tough, man.
Man is down bad.
You know what? I would bet so much that cryptocurrency was an issue in that relationship. I'm just reading call me a prophet. I don't know, but
he hung his bored ape on the refrigerator.
I'm just sensing that maybe cryptocurrency was a flashpoint in that household. That's all.
Hey babe, I bought a new smart refrigerator and it's got a digital screen on it. Check this out. It's got a drooling lion on the screen.
What is Coinbase, and why have you spent $17,000 on it? I think secretly she was probably hoping it was like a porn website or something.
Yeah.
Like something less embarrassing than
we can deal with OnlyFans.
Than digital monkeys and hedgehogs. Like, it's embarrassing way to live your life.
I also thought you would think this was pretty good. Palisade Produce, which is like Colorado's peaches, I guess.
Yeah.
Their
the
tabs,
9/11,
9/11 investigation.
Yeah. They want to find out the truth of 9/11.
They want the truth.
21-year anniversary coming up, so still waiting on those answers. That's like one of the, I think, the 3 or 5 first, like, baby's first conspiracy theory.
Yes.
It's like, I don't know, JFK assassination, Roswell, and like 9/11 now. I feel like that's like the big 3.
Especially now that you're starting to meet more and more grown humans that weren't even alive for 9/11.
Yes, that is a weird day.
Where that's like our first like embedded childhood memory.
Shout out to the produce though. You're trying to get to the bottom of 9/11. I respect it so much. Why did Building 7 fall? It's a fair question to ask while I'm eating your peaches.
It's because it didn't have a crate of our delicious peaches.
Christ.
Oh, man.
This country's just heading in the right direction. Like that.
And Tyrese Maxey is staying, and James Harden's wine comes out on Friday, man.
Coincidence?
I think not.
I think not. Don't believe in coincidences. No good detective does.
That's the, as Mike Levin has always asked for, the trip to Napa is just going to be the trip to James Harden's vineyard.
Yeah.
As his new wine will drop. And the...
Harden never quite struck me as a wine guy. I'll say that.
No.
Always struck me more as like like celebrities and stuff always like now they just have like an alcohol that they like sell. Always struck me more as like a tequila guy or something.
Yes.
I don't know why. But then I see him with a wine glass. It kind of fits. He does look like...
Wine fits the wardrobe.
Yes, exactly. Like I could see James Harden reclined in front of a fireplace with like one of those like very cartoony robes.
Yes.
With like the puff in between, like enjoying like a pipe with wine.
Yeah.
And like house loafers. I could just see that.
And his typical James Harden sunglasses on.
Yes.
Totally could see that.
Our boy James.
It's good vibes around the Sixers right now.
Allegedly.
Daryl Morey's been at Phillies games trying to fix baseball. Did you see his tweet about fixing baseball?
I'd like to see him try. What's Daryl Morey's solution for that? If it includes more stolen bases, I'm in.
It includes this, and I think you'll be intrigued by what he has to say. Proposal for baseball. Whichever team is behind is the only one who bats until they tie it or take the lead. When games are tied, everything proceeds as normal. Once the team behind comes back, then the team that gets back to bat proceeds from the last inning that they had. It would eliminate a ton of not needed at-bats without changing who wins or loses. It is just coincidence that I am thinking of this right now as he tagged that he was at Citizens Bank Park. Some are confused. The basics of the game wouldn't change. Still clear bases and break after 3 outs in half innings and 27 outs to win. You're just playing half an inning in an optimal order for games to end quicker if some half innings were not needed. Skipping not needed half innings already happens in the 9th. Also, I think the biggest takeaway from this is Twitter is a wonderful place to explore ideas as you get lots of helpful commentary and suggestions.
Someone said Daryl had an edible at the game. I'll say this. It's not the worst rule change I've ever seen on Twitter, but that's also not a compliment. No way. No way is what I would say to that one.
Daryl's also popping up at Eagles practices as well. He's just making the rounds.
It's a renaissance man.
He's making the rounds. Speaking of the Eagles, I think my new favorite trend, Matt, is following A.J. Brown on Twitter, but then also any unbelievable catch he makes in joint practice, in a preseason game, or in just regular practice. He quote tweets it and it could be on the Eagles official account, but he quote tweets it and says that it's photoshopped.
He's a good guy.
I believe it was his lady as well tweeted just the video of him making just a ridiculous one-handed catch today, as the Reds now lead the Phillies 1-0 off of a Stuart Fairchild solo home run. And the Phillies had left the bases loaded the previous inning. His lady tweeted just the video, just him as the caption, and he quote tweeted, it was like, "Damn, this Photoshop too," with the new peeking through the eyes emoji, and he's slowly becoming one of my favorite people.
Yeah, he's a good follow for sure.
He's very funny. He's not afraid to get into any argument with Titans fans who try to say that he's a diva and a baby for their front office not re-signing him. Had nothing to do with A.J. Brown. He wanted to be there. They didn't want to pay him, and that's why he's an Eagle. Final preseason game, not against the Jets, though. It's against the Dolphins on Saturday, which is interesting. It feels like the Eagles and Dolphins are in a very similar set of...
they had very similar off seasons.
Yeah.
Both make a big addition, wide receiver, to help a young quarterback who has question marks around their throwing ability. It's for Tua and Jalen, it is a prove it season because they have certainly cannot complain about the talent surrounding either one of them. Both teams are sort of on the edge of Eagles obviously made the playoffs. Dolphins started 1-7 and then turned around and but both teams are at this kind of crossroads where this has to be the year that things happen for them. I think it's totally possible for both situations.
Both have young head coaches.
Yeah.
Shut down corners.
Yeah, exactly. It's very similar type of teams, honestly.
Both got
hell, the Eagles might still get Kareem Hunt, that's and he'd be their Chase Edmonds type of signing. It is kind of bizarre how similar some of the offseason narratives have been, but yeah, nice less problematic situation than Cleveland.
The only difference is the Eagles have had success when Tom Brady's been in their corners the last 5 years.
Listen,
where the Dolphins lose a first-round draft pick when it comes to Tom Brady.
Kind of fucked up, honestly. We're gonna pretend no one has ever tampered,
right?
Is that really what we're doing?
The stupidest shit.
Is that really what? It's just the Dolphins. We lose a first-round pick because of that. Are you kidding me?
That's ridiculous.
Unreal.
Come
on. Dan Snyder's stealing passports.
Yeah.
And we just had Tom Brady on a yacht somewhere. That's a first-round pick. And an owner suspension. Who the hell cares if the owner's suspended?
Do you know who
He owns the building. Are you going to throw him out of his own building?
The number 1 and number 2 in command for the ownership group for the Dolphins are currently suspended. Do you know who has the next most power?
Tua.
From the ownership group, it's Fergie.
Jesus Christ. This is
Fergie is acting owner.
This is Manchurian Candidate kind of stuff here. Where Fergie's going to sing the national anthem again, and it's going to send her into a spiral where she makes all these business deals as the head Dolphins owner. That'd actually be a really funny sitcom idea where it's celebrities are always buying small stakes in anything, literally anything, but especially sports teams. Something like this happens where everyone goes to jail or something for a Bernie Madoff type scheme, and there's just literally one and legally they are now the sole owner, but it's a total it's a C-list celebrity who's washed up now. That would be amazing. And now that's their comeback into fame is they're now the owner of the Patriots.
Who would it be?
It would be someone from Full House. Who's not John Stamos.
Oh, it's Uncle Joey.
Yeah. Or Joey from Friends.
Yes.
Is
How you doing?
all of a sudden now an owner of a sports team because of some his agent got him a nice deal in 1999 on something. He bought in like a small. He bought like 0.1% for like $10,000.
Those two. I mean, Macaulay Culkin.
Macaulay Culkin, because he kind of hangs around, you know.
He does. I think more so just in the light of what is Macaulay Culkin doing.
Yeah.
And married to Brenda Song.
He I have a YouTube channel that I watch that he will guest appear on pretty frequently, and he seems like a pretty just laid back dude.
Yeah.
Just kind of hanging out.
But yeah, Fergie, acting owner of the Dolphins, is Mad Libs gone wild.
You know what? She's great. Love Fergalicious, you know?
Shout
Great
out to the
song.
Black Eyed Peas.
Shout out to the Black Eyed Peas.
Matt the Union continued to just own DC United.
Yes.
They
6-0.
continued to just dominate, and I'm the biggest Carranza stan there is.
Yeah. Hat trick against DC in both games. That has really helped.
Got the Wikipedia page changed,
and rightly so. Yeah, they're in the hunt now, sort of, for the supporter shield. Some things are gonna have to go their way. LAFC is a really tough end of season schedule, so it's not like out of the realm of possibility for the Union to catch up. But at this point, you're sort of you're starting to play the math game of when they'll actually clinch a playoff spot, and that's sort of just what's next for them. But yeah, cruising for sure. They get Colorado next. Pretty below average team you'd expect to have a good result against. So they have a pretty light schedule the rest of the way in terms of quality of opponent. They got Colorado, Atlanta.
I think they get Atlanta twice.
Yeah, Atlanta twice. Red Bulls, Orlando, and Toronto and Charlotte to close out the season. So Toronto will be tough because they're surging right now. They've obviously some of those summer signings starting to hit their stride a little bit, but for the most part, it's a pretty nice schedule for Philly here.
And I think LAFC has 5 matches against
a lot of the
top four
seeds.
Teams,
they have some
West.
really tough away games. I know they play Austin next, who's number 2 in the West. Yeah, they have Houston left. Still have to go to Dallas, Minnesota, Portland, Nashville. They have some really, really challenging games left. So, but they're a good team, obviously. But you kind of expect that they'll definitely drop some points there. But Philly's probably gonna have to go perfect the rest of the way or close to it. Maybe drop a game or two. And LA is gonna have to have a kind of rough time of it for them to catch up. But not out of the realm.
Not out of it. Brendan Aronson gets his first Premier League goal.
Yes, he did.
Officially.
Can't take it away from him.
MLS said our soccer podcast name. They tweeted the name.
Yep.
In terms of somebody from Nashville scoring. But yeah, I think Brendan Aronson had one of the best post-game quotes in his press conference saying, yeah, this just proves that Americans can play football too.
You love it.
What a savage.
Absolutely love it. It just brings me joy when people get so upset about soccer versus football, and just unreal. The seething that happens.
And it's fun when the once every 4 years people start tweeting about the World Cup and start seeing the young U.S. talent. And when you're Brendan Aronson, you have Pat McAfee tweeting about you. It's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, definitely.
So the Medford Messi, if you will, doing the damn thing for Leeds. And Matt, we are less than a month away from Survivor returning.
I know. I was thinking about that the other day. About Fantasy Survivor returning, reigning champ. I should have had. And yeah, just having that routine back. That'll be nice. I'm looking forward to it.
Going for 3 straight top 2 finishes from this show.
I know. We
predicted the season 41.
Well, now it's a little bit of pressure. Cause it's
yes.
I really gotta,
There's nobody from New Jersey this year. It's a little tough.
I know. And that's such an easy out.
I know. I don't even know if there's a firefighter from the Northeast.
Man, we're going blind here.
But
are there any med students? Because Deshaun was a med student.
That's true.
Med students, historically, decent track record.
I think our only the only knock against Mike from last year is, now that the show has ended and everything, his Instagram will get targeted to me. He's a Mets fan. But he is from Hoboken, so but still.
Kind
of a bummer.
hate the sin, love the sinner. You know, like
Yes.
it's like
let's
he
see
couldn't help
here.
it. He couldn't help it.
This is the season 43 cast. We looked at this because it dropped relatively early,
Right.
when season 42 was still out and running. But we do have a couple people from Philadelphia this season. Don't know if we have what we're truly looking for from our people, but we have a 19-year-old student, we have a fitness instructor, an admission counselor, a director of operating, we have the Paralympian, we have a Philadelphia-based content creator, we have a heart valve specialist, we have a pediatric nurse from Downingtown, Pennsylvania, an educator from Washington, D.C., the regional sales manager from Los Angeles, California, a PhD student, got a designer, an event curator from Philadelphia, a web designer from Hawaii, psychologist from Utah, computer science student from Memphis, Tennessee, an account manager from Hawaii, and a fashion merchandising major from Texas.
I'm gonna have to mull that one over. I have to start thinking deep here.
I feel
So
like
like I
this
said,
is the
we got
first
some
time we've
some
had two people
pressure.
from Hawaii.
Yeah. They must have done some casting in the PA area, like 'cause that just feels
3 people from Pennsylvania,
it just feels a little bizarre.
DC. It's going to be an interesting season, I would say, just based off of the... And also, our heart valve specialist does not look like a heart valve specialist
Not
at
at
all.
He looks like a.
He looks like he's straight out of Yellowstone.
Yes. Shout out to him though.
Going to be a fun one. Any final thoughts, Matt? I mean, Phils are rolling right now.
God bless our Phils.
Union are rolling, and football season is... How are the fantasy drafts doing? What's the best ball counter?
I'm only at one best ball
There we
draft
go.
because I haven't had a lot of time. This weekend that number's gonna go up. Because I like to say that I like to do all my drafts like a week and a half out at least, if not shorter, just because injuries, you get like just more information.
Right.
But just tell you, we're gonna be hitting the best ball drafts pretty hard over the next week, getting ready because like 2 like main leagues. Best ball, recommend best ball to everyone, at least just to do like a free one, because and if you can, just throw like $2 into one. Maybe you'll just lose that money, but whatever, it's $2. But you get to actually draft against people that have like now some incentive. Mock drafts suck because there's always some asshole that takes like
Forever.
takes forever, or like takes like someone takes Tom Brady with their second pick or
Yeah.
something. It's like that's just not. Come on, like you're not helping anyone by doing that. It's taking like a defense in the 5th round. Like it's just come on. Let's be adults here. So, do a best ball. Do a few of them. Get used to just like this is where guys fall in the draft. These are the rounds I like. So I'm looking forward to that.
Just had to submit my keepers for
Oof.
my keeper league that I'm in with Mikey. Is year 10 of that league. Starting off this year with Dalvin Cook, Mark Andrews, Devontae Adams.
I tell you,
It's a nice little core.
that's a nice core.
Just gotta hit it in the draft this year. Didn't trade too many draft picks last year, which is nice. I have 2 8th-round picks. I traded my 6th, which a lot of people crucified me when I made that trade. I did the silly mistake of not designating that it was a keeper / pseudo redraft league and not a dynasty league.
Right.
I traded my 6th-round pick and Chase Claypool last year for an 8th-round pick and Hunter Renfrow.
That's it.
Renfrow was a PPR machine
As I
last
said,
year.
Renfrow was better than Claypool.
Yeah,
last
had the
season.
better quarterback.
Yeah. People, I think, especially in like a keeper, like dynasty situation, love to hoard picks.
Yes.
Give me the value like straight up.
Yep. And Hunter Renfrow was fantastic. And
It is tough having Renfrow and Devontae now. That like that's
Yeah,
just
that's
an
gonna be a bummer this year.
unfortunate kind of double up there, but still.
so I'll have to stay away from Renfrow this year, but
I mean, is Chase Claypool catching deep bombs from
Right.
Trubisky? I don't.
And luckily, both of those guys will go back in the draft, and I just
Right.
have my my double 8th round picks now. But my draft September 1st, which is nice.
Yeah.
Get to,
Labor Day weekend is the ideal, I think, if you can swing it.
especially now with
friends.
just the 3 preseason games, so that final week of what was preseason week 4 is now just wide open, and nobody's playing, nobody's getting injured. That helps a ton for your fantasy football drafts, which the Loaded Box podcast will be coming to the YouTube channel probably starting next week once Pat Pitts gets back from his day job training down there in Florida. He's probably hanging out with the Island Boys. But the Loaded Box podcast, our fantasy football podcast, coming to the YouTube channel. You can subscribe to the podcast feed already. Just search Underground Sports Philadelphia on your podcast app of choice. It's Pat Pitts and his co-host OC doing the damn thing, covering fantasy football for us. So go check that out. And make sure you guys are following us on the socials at Underground PHI on Twitter, on Instagram. You can follow Matt on Twitter at Matt Castorina. Follow me at KBIZZL311. Check out the website, undergroundsportsphiladelphia.com, for all of our written content. Subscribe to the podcast feed on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts, and leave those 5-star ratings and reviews over there on Apple Podcasts. Help the show grow, help more people find the show, and subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel, which is where you get full video episodes of every Underground Sports Philadelphia podcast. You get this show, you get Outside the Box, you get Top Bins with Matt and Dom, you get the Dan Russo show, you get Eagles Enemies. Every single show under our umbrella goes up on the YouTube channel, so go check that out. Smash the like button, ring the bell icon, and comment your thoughts on the Phils, the Union, the Eagles, the Sixers, and everything else in between as Matt Vierling ties the game up, Matt, at 1-1 for the Phils, which is great to see. Matty V going deep last night as well, getting out of that August slump he's been in. Big thank you to our sponsors who make this show happen. Main Auto LLC, Ducharme's Pro Foot, Security 21 Security Systems, Paul J. Gillespie Incorporated, and the Dental Wellness Center of Vineland. Tomahawk Shades Pickup, Kenwood Beer and Beano Board. All of their information is linked in the description on YouTube and in the show notes on your audio platform of choice. This has been Underground Sports Philadelphia, episode number 458. For Matt, I'm KB. And until next time, we're getting the heck out of here. Peace.